So I don't have an intro. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, and by the way, this is my first episode. So I've always wanted to do a podcast, but I also know that there's a lot of editing that comes with it and a lot of time that comes with it. And I didn't want to do that. So I'm not, by the way. So my thought process is I'm picking between the unedited and the I don't know. But I'm probably gonna do the unedited for my name, I guess, or whatever. Anyway, so I just picked a random topic today because it's my first episode. I just decided to do jobs and I want to talk about my job, which is my first job, like actual job. And I started like 6 to 8 months ago, maybe. And um it's not bad. I'm a cashier at this store, but it's not like a Costco or one of those big stores where people are flying through it all day. So you're like working the whole time, right? And then you get your breaks, usually multiple breaks. I only get one, which makes sense because there's basically no one at the store unless they're coming in for like really odd deals or they're older. Because when they're older, they see, oh, the meat's 50% off. Let me go ahead and get that 50% off meat. When in reality, the meat is overpriced. I love the store that I work at, but when there are no customers and you're standing there on your feet for hours, it is crazy the amount of pain I'm in. I don't know why, I don't know how, but I could run for an hour, but I cannot stand for just an hour or two straight. My knees start to hurt, my ankles start to hurt, like my back hurts. I have to literally stretch standing there waiting for someone to come into my line. Then you finally get someone in your line and they're either so sweet or they're oh my gosh, my camera. What? Like it wants to act up now? Oh my. Y'all, I know you're seeing this. Sorry, you're just gonna have to ignore it. Anyway, once I get in my line, they're either really sweet. Oh, is this real? Did it stop? Okay. It's like when I get close, it goes away. Okay. They're either really sweet or they're incredibly rude and they have no patience. Let's start off. They're going through your line, okay? You're saying, hi, how's your day today? And they reply. Or they don't and they're just like, And I'm like, okay. Some of them like to comment on my name, comment on my hair, or something like that. Usually my name starts the topic just because my name is so talkable about. I don't know how to explain that to you, but it is. Anyway. And then it just goes on and you either have a great conversation with this person or you don't. Which is totally fine. I know some people don't want to talk, which is fine. Some people put earbuds in their ears, which makes sense. Like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to ring your stuff up. Then you have the deals. The amount of deals that this store has is insane. You could get probably a deal on everything. But here's the reason. Everything is overpriced. So if you're getting 90 cents off, I hate to break it to you, but it was probably $1 over how much it originally is at another store. So I usually don't like that part about it. Then we have an online digital deals. So you have your regular deals and your digital deals. You clip your digital deals, you have to go through the app and find them, right? And then you also just have your regular punch your number in and you have deals. The issue with that is so many people will see the deal on the tag when they grab it, like for instance, watermelon. $3.49. This was just a regular member price. Well, yeah, it was a regular member price. Okay, great. But then you have like something else, for instance, cherries. They're only $1 a pound, which I don't really know if that's realistic, but it's a digital deal. So they'll come up and they'll be like, "Why did that not take off?" And I'm like, "Ma'am, it's a digital deal." And they're like, "Well, can you get that or can you ring that up for me?" I'm like, "No, you have to use the app." She's like, "Well, I don't have the app." Well, if you don't have the app, then I can't help you. So there's a lot of that. However, there are people who come through who have the app but don't know how to use it. So I have to rescan their stuff, right? So I'm going to void all these items, but then I'll help them get what they want deals on, and then I will scan that item again and it should come up. So some people I actually give grace to because the way they treat me. However, when other people want to act up and then get mad when I have a really hard time wanting to help them, it's like so confusing to me. And I don't want to say this is like a moral thing. I try to be nice to everyone, but it's definitely a lot harder when you have someone who's trying to control the situation that they don't know how to control, if that makes sense. Anyway, so there's that. Once they're done, usually it's really great, really nice. I've never also used I've only done a check like 3 times. If you're using checks at a store, you're either A, like out of money or something, or like you don't, it's not clocking you. It's not clocking you that's not normal. Anyway, so yeah, those are some things I really kind of don't like. What do I like? I do like my coworkers. They're so sweet. My bosses are freaking amazing, bro. Let me tell you something. They are amazing. Okay, I was not feeling good the other day, and they'd let me off like 2-3 hours early because it's only a 4-hour shift, but they let me off, and I was like, there's no other job that would let me do that. I'm also very busy. I'm traveling a lot, and they let me travel. And they're very flexible with my schedule, but at the same time they're kind of suffering from it because they don't have a lot of people working there, just because I personally think the pay is not high enough. No one wants to work there because the pay isn't high enough. So they're definitely struggling with having people come in. For me, I had also applied to Pan Express because they start at 15 an hour. They start at 15 an hour. And I was like, absolutely, I want this. That means you're like making $30 an hour, okay? Right now, I'm not making that, by the way. I'm not going to say what I make, but I'm not making that. So, here I am trying to get into Panda Express, but I don't because I have to be like 18. And they're like, you're not close enough to 18, but once you are, come back to us. So that was a good sign, you know, like, oh, they liked my resume, whatever. But I was like, this is my last resort. No one else will take me because I need a flexible schedule and I'm like not 18 or whatever. So usually when you go to this store that I work at, you start as like a courtesy clerk, which is someone like who bags, goes outside, by the way, in the burning heat, does all the carts, cleans all the hallways, faces everything. Like, they do everything, and they make less than me, by the way. They make less than me. And all I do is stand there and scan items. But I think the reason I get paid more is because I have to ID for alcohol, and I also have to make sure the money in my cash register is the right amount and people are actually paying for everything they've bought. However, it's not as grueling of a job physically. Like, physically, those courtesy clerks are doing so much. They will come in sweating, and I'm just like, dude, I'm so glad I'm not out there. But why am I getting paid more? At the end of the day, it's not about how much you do, it's about what you are literally doing. So they could be doing so many things, and it really benefits the store. But if it doesn't have to do with the amount of money the store is making, it's not as important. That's why they consider my part to be more important, because I'm watching the money, I'm taking in the money, I'm giving money back. So it's really important that I do my job well, because money is what makes the job or the store run, by the way. But at the same time, I'm just like, I could never just do what the courtesy clerks do. They're always physically doing something. But then here I am, standing for hours, doing absolutely nothing. Like, literally nothing. And to be honest, I would rather be doing something. I would rather be doing something because the time goes so bloody slow. I think I had a 7-hour shift. A 7-hour shift, by the way. And I had never felt like it was a longer day in my entire life. I only get one break out of 7 hours, and it's a lunch break, okay, which I guess is apparently normal, which is fine. However, I think I should have had a lunch break and a 15-minute break because it was ridiculous the pain my legs were in, because you don't get a stool to sit down and wait for customers. You have to go to the front and stand, and then once you get back, you're standing. And they have these mats on the floors. By the way, those don't work. So I usually take my shoes off because no one can see it, which, let me tell you, the relief when I take my shoes off, and also the embarrassment because my height shrinks, like, so much. A little bit more about my job, that I don't like. Probably that it's not very organized, or maybe that's just my opinion. I don't think it's very organized. I have one boss telling me how to work the register, and I have another boss telling me a whole different thing, and it's kind of confusing. And my brothers also were cashiers at a different store called Market Street, and I asked them questions about like what I need to know, and they were like, you need to know PLUs. If you don't know what PLUs are, it's all the groceries that are fruits or vegetables that don't come with a tag. So you have to know the PLU. Like, for instance, celery is 4770, so you type that in and then it gives you whatever. Or cilantro is 4889. Like, these come off the top of my head now, but before I was like, there's no way I'm memorizing all this. So it's not that bad, but the problem is there's so many vegetables. Like, so many vegetables. And a lot of the time, when I see an onion, I have no clue which onion it is. Which onion is this? We have 5 different white onion brands. What onion is it? So, I really hate that because then the person will get upset that they're not getting paid the correct price, and it's a whole deal, and then I have to do this and that. So knowing PLUs would be great, but they tell us we're not supposed to use them. And then I have another chick just punching them in when I don't know. And I'm just like, what? And apparently it like takes off points for whatever reason. I also get points taken off for having like my register open and ready for too long. You have to like lock it. So if I have it open for too long, it takes points off. If I don't swipe fast enough, it takes points off. If this or that, like, it's just such weird stuff to me. And I asked my brothers, like, did you ever do this? And they're like, no. But at the same time, in my opinion, I also think Market Street is a little more busy than this store. So there is that too. But yeah, the PLUs, it actually, sorry, I have to move my legs. It actually really upsets me. So if you're considering being a cashier, go to a store where there are lots of customers. Go to a store where they're managed well. And also make sure you feel like you would really like the people. Because a lot of the people are not my age. And it's definitely hard because that means I don't really talk to a lot of them. I love them. Like, they're great people, but I just am not in the same stage as them in life. So I have a hard time speaking with them. When I see, like, my other friends or other people at other shops with the same aged girls or guys all hanging out after work or talking, I'm just like, I wish I had that, but I don't. I don't have that because, one, there's never more than one cashier there, by the way. It is so rare that we have 2 cashiers on register. It's always one. So once you come in, the other person leaves, and that's that. So not only do I not really get to talk to a lot of, it's hard because they're older, a lot of them, and sometimes they don't know that I'm younger, and when I tell them my age, they're like, oh, well. And I'm just like, yeah, that's me. So that's the like only thing I wish I had people my age working there, but at the same time I knew I wouldn't. That's why I also wanted to work at this, what is it? Retirement home center? Not center, like apartment. Because I saw all the people in the back were like around my age, and I would love to work with dining. So I talked to them. They were so nice, but they needed so much availability. And I was like, I can't do that. So it was obviously an automatic no. So that's like the only really hard part is I can't let this job go because I get so much time off and she's so willing to shift everything. However, I'm kind of afraid that she's going to need me a lot more because we're losing a lot of the people because they're going out of town for college or going to a completely different state for college. And so none of them are going to be here, but I will. So I told her, like, I'll be there. But it's kind of nerve-wracking because I'm probably going to get a lot more hours. The pay is not bad at all. But at the same time, I think it should be higher. Considering the inflation we're in today, it needs to be higher. That I don't shop there. I wouldn't want to shop there. So this is one thing I really liked. We get a lot of random associate discounts. So we normally get like one free thing every week. And it's a specific thing. But like normally a food item, it picks and then you get to buy that. Sometimes it's like cake, etc., etc. So the other thing I got after working, I think 120 hours, you get a free $75 to shop. When I tell you, I could barely buy anything with that. I could barely buy anything with that. I bought 3 bags of chips, 2 things of cookies. Also, don't question why it was so bad of food. It's because I just wanted to. I bought like 4 kombuchas, which are like $3 each. I bought sushi. I bought Skittles. And I bought these Nutella thingies. I bought a bunch of junk food, right? But that junk food was barely anything. And it was $75. Everything I'm named off, I'm pretty sure that's it. That's all I bought. And it was $75. On top of that, I'm pretty sure I put my 10% discount in there. On top of that, I'm pretty sure I put a $5 discount on there. So you're telling me all of that was $75? Really? Ridiculous. Chips today are so expensive. What do you mean it's $5.99 for a half full bag with half air? And they're like, well, we do it for a reason. Yeah, well, not at Trader Joe's. They don't, because at Trader Joe's, their chips are filled to the rim. Okay, they're filled to the rim. Anyway, that was so off topic. My point being that when I wanted a job, I needed a job. I needed money. I needed to just, learn how to have savings, learn how to figure out what I need gas money for, this, for, etc. So my parents like, you're getting a job, blah, blah, blah. So getting a job, there we go. So I had to like set a time. I was like, this is when I'm going to get a job. I get a job before January. And I got a job before January, and then I started. So like putting a limit on how long you have to find a job is really good because it motivates you to actually go out and find places. I had to make my resume, which by the way isn't that hard nowadays, just because you can go on those help me make a resume, one of those, like, I don't even know. The only problem is when you get to the end and it's like download $7, and I'm like, I don't think so. Your help was not worth $7. Your ChatGPT was not worth $7. So I just found one that was free. Perfect. And I made my resume. And I put a picture of myself on there because I actually just gotten a photo / headshot from something else, which I will talk about in another video, actually. And then, so I made my resume. And a lot of people just do it online. Like, they'll just apply online. You need to go into the store. if you go into the store with your application, or not your application, with your resume, I am telling you right now, it'll give you so much more success. You'll get to talk to them. You'll get to give your personality and the way you present yourself. So I showed up very sweet. I had a bow. I was in bright colors. Like, I was presenting myself a very, very specific way, just so they would know I am a lot more. It sounds weird, but I looked like submissive. Like, I looked like I would do whatever the boss told me. I would do whatever, who's ahead of me. I would do what they say, and I wouldn't question it. If I came in looking bold and harsh, they would question whether or not I actually would respect them and follow their guidelines. I've noticed that's how it works. People can say, "Oh, that's not true. That's not true. Don't judge a book by its cover." But at the end of the day, your first impression at a job interview is your first impression. So my first impression was, I'm going to look soft and obedient so that they like what they see, and they're able to gather information with the way I present myself and the way that I talk, and then I'm going to get the job. So majority of the jobs I almost got, but I just didn't, due to amount of time. So you also have to be ready to be working while doing school. And on top of that, if you're doing college sports, whatever, regular sports, college sports, if you're doing all that stuff, oh, and on top of that, hanging out with friends. So basically you're booked all the time. So there is that. But I think it's good because in reality, in real life, when you get married or whatever and you have kids, it's not going to just be sunshine and rainbows all the time. You're not going to have all this time off unless that's the life you end up living, where you're like a stay-at-home mom and you do whatever in the heck you want. Go girl. But in reality, since I do want to work, and I'm not going to say probably work forever. I know there will be a moment where I'm stay at home, but I do want to work, so I need to get used to doing work. The best thing, I think, even though I don't necessarily love my job, is if I can get through this job not liking it, imagine how much more I will enjoy a job I like doing. So going through jobs that you have a really hard time liking the people, or having a lot of hard time with your boss, with your schedule, and then when you get older and you find that job that fits what you enjoy to do, you really like the boss and you like the coworkers, imagine how much better that will be. Like, and you will be basically already taught how to deal with people that you don't like. And you'll be taught situations like that. When I tell you the amount of people, I have to take a deep breath in my mind, because it would look rude if I just go, like, in my mind, I'm like, ma'am, sir, I don't know what you're going through, but you need to calm down. That's another thing too. You have no clue what other people are going through. So when someone yells at me or gets upset that I did something wrong, or they even say harsh words to me, I don't judge them. I'm just like, okay, listen, this is all I can do for you. I'm really sorry. I can call my manager. I usually just do that because I don't know what they're going through, And at the end of the day, even if it's like I stubbed my toe and now I'm angry, girl, I've stubbed my toe. I know how that feels. Everyone's going through something. It doesn't matter how drastic it is, in my opinion. Just control yourself. That's the best thing you can do. I think working in a job that has you interacting with humans every day is so good for when you get older, because that means you'll be apt to being better at small talk, which is so important in my opinion, especially when you're meeting new people. If you don't small talk, you'll never probably talk, because small talk usually leads to a longer conversation. And if it doesn't, you had small talk, a little bit. But if you can't speak with people a little bit, you're never going to be able to. Which I've gotten so much better at it over the months, pretty quick, I'd have to say. But I had someone from high school that I haven't seen in here, because I don't go to that high school anymore. Or no, wait, I didn't go to high school with him. I went to middle school with him. And I saw him. He went through my line. He knew it was me. I knew it was him. I was like, hey. He was like, hey. And I started trying small talk because that's what I do naturally as a cashier, I feel like now. And he just didn't really know what to say. He said a few things, but he was like trying to find the words. And in my head, I was like, what job do you do? And I realized, oh, there are benefits to this job more than just the money. I'm really good at interacting with people now. I feel as though it is a priority that I realize I need to articulate my words. I need to speak to these people. And at the end of the day, that's the most important. So, yeah, I mean, I don't hate my job. I don't love my job. I like my job. But at the end of the day, my job has ups and it has downs, but they're important both ways. So if you're looking for a job, I don't think it's all about the money. Don't shoot your shot for just the money. It's also learning experience, especially when you're younger. It's learning experience. And even when you get that first paycheck, you're like, I have my own money. So that's how it was for me in my job. That's how it is for my job right now. And I'm just excited, like, that I get to have a job and say I've worked before, because before all my friends would say they've worked and I never worked. So it was obviously difficult to hear everyone else has worked and you haven't. Like, there is a point when you realize, oh my gosh, I'm the only person of my friends that has no job. And suddenly you feel like you're left out. It's not I'm left out because I can't go hang out. It's I'm left out because I don't have a job. So it eventually gets to that point where everyone's getting a job because they need money. And it's not about who can hang out. It's about who can get a job. You don't feel left out because you couldn't go to the hangout. You feel left out because you can't get a job. So it's just funny how it changes. Anyway, I have things to do. And, that was a lot of yap. But I liked it. I mean, I like to just talk. This is kind of like therapy for me. Y'all, honestly, if you want to do a podcast, freaking do it. I don't know. Obviously, I'm going to come out with another one probably today or tomorrow. I'm going to obviously I'm probably going to make it today because I already know what the next topic is going to be. And I'm just going to put out 2 just so you can listen again if you want. But you don't have to. We're chilling. I'm definitely going to be a lot more upbeat on the next one. But I just wanted to introduce myself. And I'm not going to give myself a name until later on. And I'm just secretly revealing myself, but not my actual identity, so that you don't see that other side of me. So, check you guys later.